What I would like to talk about tonight is what we have is one of our staff members attended what they call the National Recreation and Park Association's Directors School. And it's a 2-year program. You have to go 1 year, take a certain amount of courses there, and then you have a year of homework, and then you go back the second year and go through the grueling process to finish up. And if we could have Eric Newell come up. He is the recent graduate of this school. And if I could, I just have a few little things here to read so I get it right. The Director's School is it's a 2-year exclusive professional development opportunity designed to prepare new and potential directors of parks and recreation agencies for the challenges of leading and managing effectively. Potential attendees must first apply, then they have to be recommended before they're even considered for acceptance. So there's a waiting list to get on this, and there's certain requirements to even be considered. Of course, just about anything you can imagine to manage a department in a government is what they cover, and they identify qualities of the good managers. They develop the skills, develop proficiencies in designing and implementing agency strategic plans, which would make Gary very happy. They build improved leadership skills, evaluate and identify legal responsibilities and implications, and performance management systems, personnel management, overall success of agencies themselves, and of course program prioritization and maximizing positive impacts on the communities, plus about 1 billion other things. And anyway, he took the 2 years and he's completed it, and from all accounts this is quite an achievement, and a lot of the larger cities require this of their people before they're allowed to hire them as directors. So it's a big deal. So if I could present this. Now Eric has already gotten this. We stole it off his wall. But this is the plaque that he received. Weighs about 5 pounds. So
you know it's good.
Let's give it to Eric. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Thanks.
Congratulations, Eric, for your hard work and efforts. And that's part of the thing in this city. We've got a number of city employees throughout our city that does various credentials to make themselves more professional in the areas and the jobs and the responsibilities that they have. And so, boy, as the mayor of this town, I certainly appreciate that. And so thank you very much for your extra effort in doing that. Okay, Dwight, you still have the podium. So we will talk about the Parks and Recs Commission.
Okay, well, thank you. I have the privilege tonight to introduce Nancy Tribble. She's the chair of the Parks and Recreation Commission on her second year stint of this. And as all the commissions do, we'll give you an annual report on what took place, in this case, in 2015. And here's Nancy.
Good evening. I'm just going to do a brief review on the Parks and Rec Commission. These are our members, Damon and Justin and me.
Did you catch a big fish, Nancy?
Actually, not that one, but honestly, it's a whole nother story. I have caught a fish that big, and I landed it. You know, when you fish, you learn the difference between catching and landing.
You had him that big, hoard him in his pond.
I've landed very few. We have Susan and Arch and Ted and Robbie and Jacqueline, who is our vice chair, and Mark. And I'll read our mission statement, and then I'm just going to brief through the rest of the PowerPoint. This department, in partnership with our citizens, enriches Moscow's quality of life by providing well-designed and properly maintained parks and recreational opportunities for all citizens. Services include development and maintenance of parks and community, forestry, recreational sports facilities, playgrounds, trails, open spaces, and city office buildings, in addition to offering a vast array of individual and group recreation programs. And I would like to just add that when my husband and I were looking at relocating in the mid-2000s, we knew we'd be leaving Oregon, and we're trying to decide, well, where do we want to go? It took us about 2 years to do a little, to do research. And actually, it's the Parks Commission and the way Moscow has such a nice balance between development and its green spaces that's the main reason we moved here. So our 2015 commission goals is developing our partnership. We're working on a Parks and Recreation Foundation. Our vacancies are full. We annually review our master plan, and we are working on going to joint commission meetings, the tree commission pathways, so we get out and see what other commissions are doing and inviting them to ours. Our issues and projects, as you can see, we're naming parks and helping developers and people coming in and they have questions and ideas for parks. We're helping with that. Designs, reviewed and recommended design for downtown bathroom facility. We have an annual parks and facilities tour, and we review issues concerning the aquatic center, maintenance, the roof, and things that need to be taken care of for maintenance. We reviewed our scholarship policy. We recommended our updated scholarship program be implemented and that it stays the way it is right now. It seems to be working quite well. Our master plan, we've implemented the cyclocross course, which was developed in 2015, and completion of the installation of the tot lots on East City Park and Rotary Park. We've got Otness Park up and going, and it's nice to see people down there playing. Ongoing with the Moscow School District development for the ball fields, monitoring the off-leash out of Mountain View Park, charter schools, keeping our reviewed and recommended full commission status for the pathway commissions, and we participated in the 2015 commission. We had our grand opening for the Otness Park, which was really nice. It's so needed down there, and the community members are really enjoying that. Some of our 2016 issues and projects. We will continue the 2013 master plan. We will continue to monitor the youth scholarship program. We will continue to update our city parks and facility historical guide, Lola Clyde, Milton, and the off-leash policy for Mountain View Park. These are just some of our challenges, and we're continuing to work with, review, and make recommendations for future dog parks because the one we have is really overloaded. And review and recommendations for parkland declaration policies and for addressing parks and facility accessibility issues, as well as recommendations for possible slacklining policies. Any questions?
Nancy, that was a nice opening to Otness Park that we had. And,
Yeah.
And I always wondered about these big scissors you use to cut ribbons and things. I thought it was always kind of a fake thing. I'm just being honest now, folks.
Sure.
But they really do work.
Are they sharp?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised. It sliced right through it, and I thought to myself, because I always had it in the back of my head, there's got to be something kind of fake about that.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a real thing. Well, thank you for the presentation, Walter.
Yes, sir.
I'll bite. What is slacklining?
All right.
You were wanting somebody to ask.
I was. In fact, I kind of raced right by that, and I figured someone would probably ask. Slacklining is when typically made from nylon. It's maybe about 4 inches wide, like a rope, but it's wide and flat. And people use it. That's kind of like a come along where it tightens around the trees, which slacklining has been going on in a lot of other parks, and it has been deemed by the majority of for people who oversee the trees, the arborists and so forth, that when done properly, it does not damage the trees on the right tree, the right type of bark. And then people walk on them. So it's maybe about 18 inches high, and it's actually addressed.
Art knows all about it, apparently.
Yeah,
It's like tightrope
Like-
walking,
like
but without
tightrope.
the tight.
But it's
Yeah.
slack.
But it's kind of floppy.
yeah.
And you're
That's
only
not very
18
high
inches off the
either.
ground,
Yeah.
too,
So
which
it's,
is a
yeah.
good thing.
Well, it can be low, it can be a little bit higher, but it has been up and coming. It's been around a lot of other parks, and actually, yeah. And so it's been here more and more. And so we had some folks come to our commission meeting and ask that maybe we do a little more research and see if we could actually get the dedicated wording in there that says, and give specifics so it can be done safely and not damage the tree. And then we have boundaries to look at. So if someone's doing it incorrectly, we know how to redirect them.
How wide did you say that is, Nancy?
Well,
About 4
some,
inches?
well, some I've seen some 4 inches. I've seen some really narrow. So it's like high wire act, so to speak.
I was walking by Rotary Park one evening, and there was a young fella there with his 2 kids, I think, and he set one up. And it's the first time I'd ever seen it, and I'm watching him, and it was pretty amazing. And and then he looked at me, he says, "We want to give it a try." Are you crazy? No, thank you.
I know.
But it's interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
Other questions for Nancy from the council?
Just one short one. Any updates on the off-leash area of Mountain View Park? Is that getting better, hanging in there?
Well, we really appreciated the feedback that we received. We had a big support of the group of people. We affectionately call them the dog people, but and they love it. So they know they're really tied into this, and so they're really monitoring and watching what's going on there. But we found out that really we need to have a little more clear signage for the people who are there are some issues, like they are even when you have an off-leash area, or we see issues all over the parks with some of those, with dog droppings and so forth, or people not following the rules. But we're actually looking at being proactive now and getting maybe some websites up on some of the newer signage, so if people have an issue, they know exactly where to go so we can hear it. It gets back to us and we know how to address it. We've suggested getting some sandwich signboards that when there's an event out there, it specifically says, in this area, all dogs on leash, and where to report if someone isn't. So we're wanting to empower the people who are feeling like they're having an issue but they don't know where to go, as well as helping our group of people who follow the rules continue to monitor the area.
Nice, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Nancy, and thank you for not only chairing that commission, but your dedicated service as well on that, because you've been on there a number of years now, and I certainly
have.
appreciate that. So
Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.